Hey everyone, my name is Mr. Lamont, and I'm really excited for you to possibly take AP Business with Personal Finance next year. AP Business is a really cool course where you take an entrepreneurial idea throughout the whole entire year and you apply it to learning about what is a business, how do businesses get started, supply chains, marketing, finance, accounting, management, and more. It's a really in-depth course that's going to make a big difference to you in your high school career, and we're really excited to offer it as a new AP class for the 2026-2027 school year. I've got a few students here with me who are going to introduce themselves, and they're currently taking the pilot version of the class in the 25-26 school year, so they're going to tell you what the class is like. We can start off with our students now.
Hi, my name is Remy and I'm a senior this year. So this class is really important because it's not a very stressful environment, but it is a lot of work, obviously, because it's an AP class. So we do a lot of project-based learning, though we do have some assessments, but you shouldn't worry about getting your grade up or anything like that because you have those assignments and projects to sort of learn everything you need to do throughout the year.
Hi, my name is Jacob. I'm also a senior, and my biggest takeaway from the class would be the collaboration, and it's one of the skills that AP Classroom hopes to get across with this class, and it is very, very heavy on group work and partner work and really working with others to make sure that you learn from others while doing the assignments. And it's not extremely rigorous in the sense that the only real work you do outside of class is studying and preparing as opposed to homework, because we get a lot of work done actually during class.
Hi, my name's Alex, and I'm also a senior. And I really appreciate during taking this class the application to real life. So, for example, one weekend we needed to go out and sell lemonade, and we actually got to keep the profit. So I thought that was a pretty cool project.
Yeah, we love a class where you can make some real money. I'll spend a little bit of time to finish this up by just talking about the different units in the course so you can know what you're going to be learning, and we'll have our students chime in for some of the units about what they liked about that particular unit. So in the very first unit, first of all, the very first topic is what is a business? So it's okay if you haven't taken a ton of business courses or if you don't have a lot of prerequisite knowledge already, that's totally fine. We kind of assume you don't know too much. If you do, that's great. But don't worry if it's one of your earlier business classes, right? So we start to learn what is a business, what do they do, how do they operate, what markets do they operate in, right? That's why Alex mentioned, going out and selling things in real life as just a low stakes but really fun way to learn what it's like to run a business. In this first unit, you start to develop a business idea. So we do a lot of iterative thinking. We think about, what problems exist in the market? What gaps might you be able to fill with your business idea, right? What do you wish Livingston had that we don't have? We talk about all those questions, and around the middle of unit 1, so around the end of September, you've got your business idea and you're starting to apply things we're learning in the class to that entrepreneurial idea. So it's a very entrepreneurship based unit. It ends with talking about supply chains, right? So how do we get our product made all the way to our customer? The kind of a lot of that back end that a lot of us don't see or don't think about. It's a nice time to really think about, hey, how does this product get into my hands in the first place? Anyone want to share something they liked about Unit 1?
What I really liked about Unit 1 was our Patagonia case study, where we basically learned how a business handles an ethical dilemma. And what was really interesting and great about it was that we did a big class debate where each of us were assigned a different sort of area of a business that we would work in. Some were in finance, some were CEOs, some were marketers. It was sort of interesting to learn how a business actually works and would approach a real life scenario.
Yeah, I love that. We talk about ethics as well in that first unit, and the Patagonia was a great role play case study combined. In the second unit, you're learning about marketing. So we talk mainly about market research, primary, secondary. How do businesses figure out if their idea is actually viable? Our customer is going to like your idea. You're going to go out and talk to real customers or real potential customers to see if they're interested in your idea or what tweaks they think you might have to make. And then we'll get into the 4 Ps of marketing. So everything a marketer has to care about. Yes, they do advertisements, they do promotions, right? But they're also involved in pricing strategies. How do we know how much to sell your product for? Place. Where are you going to sell your product? How are you going to get it to customers and the product itself, right? We learn all about product development. We have a really cool showcase where you show off a minimum viable version of your product, right? Like it could be a little sample, a little illustration, a small structure of your product, right? And we show that off and we learn from each other, we iterate, and we get a lot of ideas. It's a really good environment. Anyone want to talk about Unit 2, something they liked?
Yeah, my favorite activity of Unit 2 was the Product Dud project, where we picked a few products that didn't succeed. It was candy for the most part, that didn't really do well in the market, and we try to figure out why it didn't do well, and we try to figure out what could have went wrong when they were planning the marketing and branding strategy for this, and then we try to see what we could have done better if we were in the shoes of the marketers before this product was launched. And we got to try a lot of the candies, and that was really fun.
Yeah, I spent a lot of money at Dollar Tree for that project, but it was really fun, and it's great to see, like, hey, why do these candies end up at Dollar Tree, right? There's might have been some sort of failure along the way. In Unit 3, we do a little bit of personal finance for our first two topics, and then we move on to business finance, right? So it's important to learn about credit from a personal point of view before you learn about how businesses get credit. So we'll talk about how businesses raise capital, all the finance aspects, right? So that's exciting. And then we'll do some accounting as well. So you learn about the different basic financial statements that businesses use. So you'll be analyzing them. You're going to learn how healthy is a company based off of what you see on their financial documents, right? Super important. And we do a little bit of investing as well in this unit, which is always a lot of fun. Alex, you want to tell us about your favorite part about Unit 3 so far?
Yeah, I really enjoyed learning the basic parts of the accounting, but my favorite project was actually the Skittles activity. I found that pretty fun. We were able to learn risk and investing strategy, and I believe that it was a very accessible unit for people to be able to pick up on for introductory.
Yeah. And overall, this class is very accessible, project-based. The last two units, Unit 4 is all about strategy and management. How do we manage people? How do businesses develop goals? How do we analyze how our own business is doing? How do we analyze the competition? So kind of like bigger picture now that you've developed so much for your own business kind of internally, right? After Unit 4, we take the AP exam, and then Unit 5 actually uniquely happens after the AP exam. So Unit 5 is all personal finance, where you'll complete a financial advisor project where you give advice to a family about what they should do with their finances. So it's a great application-based project there at the end. Overall, class is a lot of fun. As an AP class, there's definitely an expected level of work and output they have to do, but it's all realistic, right? It's all real life stuff that's going to relate to you kind of regardless of if you major in business or not. Anyone have any final thoughts about who should take the class or the vibes of the class that we wanted to share?
I think definitely juniors and seniors, people who may not have thought to take a business class, as Alex said earlier, it's very accessible to almost every major because every industry is a business. The class is comparable to other classes. It's not a stressful environment. You will succeed and you'll learn real life skills that you can apply everywhere.
That's great. Thanks, Remy. Thanks, Alex, Jacob, and everyone for joining us, and we hope to see you next year. Bye-bye.